One of the most damaging impacts of being in a relationship with a narcissist relates to the cognitive dissonance that you experience. Not the cognitive dissonance itself, but the consequence of going through that cognitive dissonance. The process of switching back and forth between these two conflicting narratives, between these two conflicting ideas that exist in your mind at the same time. Because of the emotional discomfort that you experience as a result of the cognitive dissonance, a part of what you constantly try to do when you're in that abusive cycle is to resolve the dissonance. You try to resolve the conflict in your mind in order to alleviate the emotional discomfort that you feel as a result of the dissonance. So you may do that if you get angry. Let's say the narcissist does something that just really upsets you. And so when that happens, you switch from being confused or thinking that they love you to back to this idea that, okay, this person is hurting me. I know they're hurting me. I need to get away from this person. And you stay there for a while, and you may even come up with some plans. You might get upset and leave for a little while, go talk to some friends, blow off some steam, vent a little bit. But then if they do something to hoover you back in, if the narcissist hoovers you back in, and you're thinking, okay, well, maybe let me just kind of see what happens, and you have that confusion, then over time they can get you back into the fantasy world where you feel like this is someone who loves me. I just need to, maybe overlook their flaws, and you start to justify, rationalize, and explain their behavior away to yourself again. And what happens over time as you constantly switch between these two narratives, you oscillate between these two ideas about who this person is and what type of relationship you're actually in, over time, you start to distrust yourself. You start to think, well, I'm not going to do anything anyway. And then you start to feel this sense of helplessness, because the way the cycle works, when you get to a point where you see them clearly and you have this visceral understanding of who they are, and you think, okay, I need to get away. If you go back to the other narrative again and again and you oscillate, then you lose trust with yourself. And it's when you lose trust with yourself and you don't trust yourself to actually act on it, leave, be gone, and stay gone, then you get to a point where you surrender to the cycle. And when you surrender to the cycle, that's when they have you totally trapped in that trauma bond, in that cycle of abuse. And so the way to break out of that is to not allow your emotions, not allow your feelings to dictate whether you're in a narrative that is a horror story or in a narrative that's a love story. You want to maintain a certain balance, a certain equilibrium when you're trying to get away from the narcissist, and allow your logical mind to allow you to set goals. Use your logical mind to set goals that keep you steady and keep you moving in a direction of greater clarity, so that you're not constantly oscillating back and forth between these two narratives, which is what the narcissist loves to do. They love to keep you in that state of confusion. They love to get you to a point where you don't know which way is up. They love to keep you emotionally dizzy, wondering what to do next and what's going on and how do I feel. And as long as they don't even care if they can get you into a negative mood, or if they can get you into a positive mood, if they can get you to think that they're a good person or a bad person, as long as they can control your emotional state, that's what they want to do to get pleasure and to feel like they're in control and to feel like they control the narrative. So when you get to a point where you allow your logical mind to get you closer and closer to clarity, closer and closer to independence, and doing the things, building a life for yourself that you feel good about, that you feel is authentic to you. As long as you're making progress in that direction, eventually you'll get to a point of balance where they can't switch you in between those two narratives like they used to.